I'd like to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Nancy Copperman, and I am your president for this year. I'm coming after a lot of big shoes, and I'm not talking about their shoe size, but their expertise and their dedication. So hopefully I'll live up at least to half of the size of their shoes. So without further ado, I'd like to kind of move the meeting along. We have a big agenda tonight, and we have an excellent presentation. If the slides go.
Oh, I didn't. Sure.
Okay, so I'd like to call up Randy to make a presentation. The chapter would like to acknowledge Beth Irwin's service as president from 2023 to 2024, and Randy will make a presentation. 2023 to 2024.
That's you. That's you.
No, meaning because I start now. Oh, that's true.
It's okay.
You know what it was?
Get better.
It wasn't that. I was kind of wishing that she would take another turn. And you guys caught me. So if we didn't say anything at the end of the meeting, I'd be giving the gavel back to her and actually getting her gifts.
All right. Okay. So everyone on Zoom, Beth, thank you so much for everything you did and got us back to full. Thank you for everything you did as president and getting us back to full meeting rooms. And here's this for after you're done with that. This is for the daytime, and this is for the evening.
This looks like it could be a really interesting toy.
They're both interesting. I'll bet you could too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. I have to hang around a minute. Okay, we gotta move over here to the lumber. Okay. We have an incredibly talented member who has been a member for a very long time. Bob Camper. Wave at us, Bob, back there in the back. There you go. Sometime in my presidency, he gifted me with this gavel that y'all may or may not remember, the crepe myrtle gavel. So, which I think I get to keep because he's made new gavels for me to pass.
Thank you, Bob.
And one other thing, one of the neatest things about being an officer with NIPSOT was getting Bob's a fabulous wildflower photographer, really knows his stuff and really gets good pictures. But you're an officer, in this case, the treasurer gets fiscal year NIPSOT, Bob Camper personal calendar for you, Mark Stutzer.
Well, thank you, Beth, for all your service here. And I guess she's not taking my hint. So you're stuck with me for the next year. Too bad. So what I wanted to do, since we had such a lovely, hot, dry summer, and last night was pretty much the first heavy rain we've had here since Memorial Day weekend. It's amazing. So I thought that maybe this year, as I started each of the meetings, that we would take a picture of local natives that basically survived the drought without any water, or possibly maybe getting watered once a week because of our water restrictions that we've had here. So I'm going to start out with the Texas lantana, and I want to thank Randy for providing a picture of one of the lantanas from her garden. And the other picture that you see here in front of the stone wall was actually from a landscape that did not receive any water since the restrictions were put in. So I think that, in thinking about how you're looking to landscape your home or the things that died and you're looking to replace, the Texas lantana was one of the stellar ones. I ask if you can, as you're driving around before we get more rain, it could be in a parking lot, in a mall, an office park, could be even in your garden because you are under water restrictions. If you'd like to send us in a picture of what it is with the name of the native, I will feature that as we go forward. The next thing is we have our field trips. So coming up, we have our San Antonio Botanical Garden guided tour. That'll be on September 30th at 10 a.m. And following that, we have October and November. If you're interested and want to know what you need to do, if you need to sign up, if you need to show up and what time, go to the website, sign up for the blog, or you can get on the website and we have our information there for you to do that as well. I'd like to call up Sue Weissman to talk a bit about another event that's coming up.
They gave me a mic. Does it work? Hello, can you hear me? Never mind. We'll go this one. This one we know works. I'm wearing a different t-shirt today. It's kind of like wearing a different hat. On behalf of the Friends of River Ranch County Park, and for y'all that do not know, this is the newest county park that just opened in July. Wonderful time to open. But it also houses the only interpretive center we have in Williamson County. And the Friends group is going to be the ones who will be staffing this facility. But also, we need enough volunteers to be on staff it. What we want to do is start doing programming for adults, programming for children. And so we're looking for more volunteers. And so I'm inviting you to join us at River Ranch on Tuesday, September 26th at the Interpretive Center. It will be open at 6 a.m. It's probably open then. No, it isn't open quite that early. But 6 p.m. and where you will be able to visit the educational displays. They are now in place as of this week. Because this is where we would really like people to come to help to learn about the flora, the fauna, the culture and history of the area. But we would like to have you, possibly join me in getting an electric green t-shirt here and being able to join us to be the people that will help lead our next generation. And I think we have a lot of folks in this room and a lot of folks out on Zoom who could do an excellent job, and we'd love for you to join us. Our business meeting starts at 7. It'll be fairly short, and there'll be limited refreshments depending on how many of y'all show up. But we really would like to have you. It's a great group, and we look forward to seeing a lot of you over the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Upcoming programs. In October, we have Ashley Landry doing plant rescue. And she is the coordinator for Williamson County. So it should be a very interesting program. I have to say that our membership has really increased over a third or more by the interest of people attending the plant rescues that are available. We have in November, Bill Carr talking about animal science. Our December meeting is a silent auction. I just want to point out that due to the library availability, we're kind of jumping around for different places. So you really need to check the website and the post to find out where you're going, because otherwise you'll be at the library by yourself while everybody else is here, or possibly in the wrong library. So just as a FYI, in November, we're going to be at the Round Rock Public Library. This is the newly renovated library, and it has plenty of parking, which was an issue in the past. So that's been rectified. So please just kind of follow and see where you need to go, because this year we're going to be jumping around a bit. In talking about the plant rescues, we have another one coming up on Saturday, September 23rd. It will be in Round Rock, Texas from 8 to 11. In doing this, you have to be 18 and older, and you have to be a current NPSOT member. If you would like more information, you can go to our website and the blog, and we have it posted there. If you would like to attend one of these plant rescues and you are not a member, you can join, and you can just go to the state NIPSUT website, join there, and then you choose Williamson County, which is our chapter. Only members are available. Okay, well, keep looking at just in case for some reason it opens up or people can't make it. But you see there's a lot of desire for these rescues, and they've been very, very popular. So we've just been told that it looks like it's been full. So if you see another one that's been posted, I guess, and you want to do it, the idea would be sign up quick, because like they say, if you snooze, you lose. Another exciting thing that we're doing again this fall, it was our beta test last year, and now we're going full throttle. So we're having our fall plant online sale. This is not an in-person sale. The availability list will be posted. Again, if you're not getting emails or you're not getting communications from us, you have to go on our new website. Even if you've been registered before, you have to re-register for our blog, and then you'll get this information. The list will be posted at midnight, September 15th. We'll be taking online orders September 22nd to the 29th. You will pick up your order on October 14th at Round Rock High School. Again, we're being hosted by the Round Rock High School Native Plant Club, and they will be helping us there kind of load and organize this as well. And this is a event that we could not do without their assistance. So if you want to know about the sale and you want to participate and you need to get some natives in your garden, this is a chance. Our chairman, Randy and Beth, and our volunteer chairman, Nancy Pumphrey, have come up with a wonderful amount of plants and organization for this event. So please look out and take advantage of this. And again, it will be a larger sale than what we did before. So Nancy, would you like to come up and
if anyone would like to help, either with loading over at Barbara Wright's nursery or with plant labeling, or what you can do in your home, or if you want to come on the day of pickup to assist people getting their orders correct and in their cars, then will you see me after the meeting? I have a little sign up sheet, and we'll get your name and address and email so that I can contact you.
And Nancy, for those that are on Zoom that wish to participate, how should they get a hold of you?
My email address is nwpumphrey, PUMPHREY @gmail.com.
You can also go to the website, and we have a contact us, and there's a form. If you want to go that route, if you didn't catch Nancy's email, and we could forward your request to her as well. So today, for those of you who've come and joined us live, there's always a bonus when you come live, because you get to take free plants home. So these are the plants that we currently have today for our members. Okay. The other thing that that we have tonight is we have our raffle here for those of you that are in person, and it's really a great raffle. Colleen Dieter has put together a 3-series guide, and this will be the raffle for this evening, and you will have 2 choices. You can get hard copy or you can get a digital copy. So we'll be doing the raffle here for the people who came in person. And if you're interested in purchasing this, and you can, actually, Google and do that, on your own. Just a couple of things. If you're looking to get a hold of us, or if you want to see what we're doing, these are some of our social media outlets, and where you can communicate with us and we can communicate with you. Again, we have a new website, so you need to visit it. And again, if you've subscribed before to our blog, you need to kind of come back and resubscribe, and then you'll get our info if you're not getting that. Always take note of our meeting, because we're changing around a lot, and we do have a hybrid of Zoom and live. We will post our meetings on our platforms after we've recorded them, so you can kind of catch something if you missed it when you were there. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker. Colleen Dieter is from the Central Texas Seed Savers. So the Seed Savers are a growing network of people who love seeds. Their mission is preventing the extinction of culturally, ecologically, and culinarily important plants. Colleen Dieter is a landscape consultant at atxgardens.com. As a top garden educator, she's often asked to speak to audiences about Texas native planting. Her speaking appearances include the Ladybird Johnson Wildflower Center, TreeFolks, Central Texas Seed Savers, Williamson County Master Gardeners, the Natural Gardener, and now she can add, after this talk, the Williamson County chapter of the Native Plant Society. She's a member of the International Society of Arboriculture, and she's a certified arborist, and she's earned a certificate in fruit tree care from the orchardpeople.com. She offers her expertise on the Horticulture Hangover, a call-in radio show every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 on KLBJ. Colleen hosts a horticultural podcast, and that's also available wherever you listen to podcasts. And she does that with her colleague, Leah Churner. She's also the founder of the Texas Seed Savers and also the creator of Let's Care for Texas Plants, a guide to maintaining local landscapes. So without further ado, Colleen.
Okay, hi everybody on Zoom. I'm really close to you. Okay. Okay, yay, great. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, tonight I'm here in my capacity as a leader of Central Texas Seed Savers. It's a volunteer organization, volunteering just like all y'all for NIPSOT. And I'm going to talk with you today about the history of Central Texas Seed Savers and some of the things we do, and give you some information about how y'all can start saving seeds. So this gives you an overview of what we're going to be talking about. And a wonderful volunteer of ours put together this presentation for us, and this is my first time doing this particular presentation, FYI, and I'm so pleased to be trying it out on y'all. And so here's some more information about me. As Nancy said, I'm a landscape consultant. That is what I do for money. And I think I've seen some of you in this room at your properties before. And what I do is I help my customers by alleviating their anxieties about their yards. And so my customers are all do-it-yourselfers who need help figuring out what to do. If they have problem spots, they keep killing things over and over again, etc. I can come and give you advice, and it's really fun. And yeah, the podcast is Horticulturati, and it's available on all podcast networks. It's Horticulturati, like glitterati or Illuminati, except plants. Okay. And I have the Horticulture Hangover show on Saturday mornings. KLBJ, it's part of the suite of gardening shows every weekend morning on KLBJ. That's an Austin institution, and I'm so proud to have been invited to do that show. And if you subscribe to the podcast feed, you'll automatically get all the radio shows in the podcast feed too. So it's really fun. Okay, so that I could talk about myself all night. I love talking about myself. I'm a fruit tree expert. I just got, that's my newest thing, is the fruit tree certificate. So I'm really excited about the fruit trees, but this is native plants. So I do in the summer teach a native fruit tree class at the Wildflower Center. So I do that too. So y'all may be interested in that. But what I really want to emphasize tonight is Central Texas Seed Savers, my volunteer group, and our mission is to prevent the extinction of culturally, ecologically, and culinarily important plants. And we're a growing network of people who love seeds. And I really want to emphasize for y'all to sign up for our newsletter at sendtextseedsavers.org. Because we have some really fun events that I think you all may want to be part of, including seed swaps. And the seed swaps are really well known for having seeds that are very hard to find, that you can't get anywhere else. So, and it's different every time. Each seed swap event is different every time, and there's different people with different seeds. So it's a lot of fun. And we do get a lot of native plant seeds in addition to vegetables, herbs, garden type flowers. We do also get native plants. So it's really fun. So if you sign up for the newsletter there, you'll get updates about when and where the seed swaps are, and would love to collaborate with y'all up here to host seed swaps in Williamson County if you're affiliated with any clubs or anything like that and would want to help coordinate a seed swap in this neck of the woods. That would be really fun. Nancy mentioned the raffle prize for tonight. That is my zine that I wrote. And I have to say, the Williamson County NIPSOT chapter was partly inspiration for that little book that I wrote. And a zine is just a homemade book, basically, that I made during COVID because I was bored. And it's all about maintaining native and well-adapted plants in Central Texas, and it is available for sale on my website, and that's the raffle prize for tonight. But when I spoke to y'all, this group, like 15 years ago, back when I was a personal gardener and I was doing maintenance, and I got inspired by doing that presentation, and William County, this chapter of NIPSOT had a really good guide, maintenance guide, that was like a spreadsheet. I hope y'all still have it. That inspired me, helped some of that information got into the zine via my brain and my experience. Let's see here. So here's our little history of our organization for Central Texas Seed Savers. And we first all met through a local nonprofit called Sustainable Food Center, where I was invited to teach a seed saving class, and that was about saving vegetable seeds. That's how all this started. And I'm a very passionate vegetable seed saver. And we had a swap on National Seed Swap Day, and it was very successful. A lot of people turned out, and someone at that event said, I just moved here from California, and the town I moved from had a seed library where you could go to the public library and you could take seeds out from the library and then bring seeds back to the library to share. Why doesn't Austin have one of those? And I said, I don't know, and we really should. And around that time, the new Central Library in downtown Austin opened, beautiful new facility. And a woman happened to be standing right next to me who heard this question, and she said, I am the gardener at the new library. Would you like me to ask the librarians if we can open a seed library? And I said, yes. So that's how it all started. And it turns out there were 2 librarians at the Central Library who wanted to open a seed library, but they can't do it without public input. So the librarians aren't allowed to just do whatever they want. They were waiting for us to come and say, can we have a seed library? And they said, yes, 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 this is great. So everything lined up. At the librarian who curates the seed collection at the Austin Public Library Central branch, she actually studied seed libraries when she was working on her master's in library science. So everything lined up beautifully. And we held a seed swap there, a big seed swap event. Over 100 people came. It was really exciting. And then a few months later, we opened up the seed collection at the Central Library downtown, and that's how it all started. And at first I thought it was just gonna be vegetables, but a lot of our members were passionate native plant enthusiasts who really said, no, we need to do native plants too. And I was like, yeah, okay, of course we should. That makes a lot of sense. And then during COVID, we couldn't have in-person swaps. All the libraries shut down. So we managed to share over 7,000 seed packets via porch pickup, food pantry drop-offs, all kinds of little seed libraries in front of people's homes. It was a really important way to try to reach other people, just in a social way to cheer people up who were stuck at home and maybe had never gardened before and didn't know how to garden and didn't want to take on the risk of buying seeds that they didn't know would work or not. And so the seed swapping is so great because you're getting seeds from someone who has successfully grown that plant. So it was an inspiring time for our group, and then but really hard, and we're still kind of coming back like y'all are, trying to get back in person events going and stuff like that. And now we are a project of Fruitful Commons, which is a local nonprofit that supports all kind of community agriculture projects. So that way we're not our own nonprofit, we're housed under their umbrella, which is really nice for us because so many of our projects kind of live in the community, and Fruitful Commons is an important overarching organization for us to sponsor us and hold our money for us and help us with fundraising and stuff like that. So it's really neat. And now, since the libraries opened up, the librarians really caught on. And now there's over 20 local seed libraries all over Central Texas. Some are little seed libraries in front of homes, but most are public library locations. Now, I saw that you all are having a meeting at the Round Rock Library next, right? And they have a seed collection that's new. So y'all, when you go to the meeting over there, check out the Round Rock seed collection. Yes.
I work for the city of Round Rock, and
Yes.
I know for a fact that they run out of seeds all the time.
Okay, so someone in the audience just said that she works for Round Rock, and she said the public library seed collection runs out of seeds all the time. One of the things that we've developed that we're testing in the Austin Public Library right now is a sign with a QR code on it, where seed savers can get an alert when a library is run out of seeds. And then we can reach out to volunteers and other libraries to see if anyone has seeds to spare to put back in, and signage to encourage gardeners to bring seeds back to the library to make the seed libraries more self-sustaining too. And those are innovations that are unique to our organization here in Central Texas. There's seed libraries all over the world, and it's kind of an old concept and really, really fun. But the new way of managing them, of trying to encourage people to bring seeds back, is kind of unique to us. So there is not a seed library at Georgetown.
For Round Rock, and I also plug that you can volunteer to seed sort.
Yes, you can also volunteer to sort seeds and clean seeds at the Round Rock Public Library. Second and fourth Wednesdays. And this is what is so exciting to me about Central Texas Seed Savers, is that kind of thing is going on and I didn't even know about it. So that makes me so happy, to know that, this started as a movement and is just taken off on its own in the community with people who are enthusiastic and showing up to pack seeds and donating seeds, and it's so exciting and inspiring to me. So somebody, all you need to do is go to Georgetown Library and ask the librarian. Okay, ask the librarian and then connect the librarian with Central Texas Seed Savers, and we can give them resources to get started. Okay, yeah, so do that. We need one in Georgetown. There's one in Hutto. The one in Hutto is older than our organization. The one in Hutto is older. I think, I can't remember, Cedar Park have one? Yes. Are you from Bloomers? Do I recognize you from Bloomers? Yeah.
But Leander has one too.
Leander has one too now?
Liberty Hill.
Liberty Hill has one? Yay, Liberty Hill has one for a long time. That's good. Yeah, so that's wonderful. So we're doing everything we can to support the seed libraries around town, giving seeds, and networking with gardeners like you to let you know that you can bring seeds to the library that you've collected. And so we're going to talk about seed collecting now. So I want to start by asking you all, why should we save seeds? So I'm going to ask you all, why are you here this evening? And just raise your hand and let me know, why did you come this evening? Why are you interested in seed saving? Yeah.
I have a million seeds. My daughters say that I could be the Johnny Appleseed of the native
Yeah,
plant world.
okay.
I should just go around with a shaker and shake out seeds everywhere. I have boxes and boxes of seeds.
Okay.
And we were going to move last year. We were going to move the year before, and I packed all my seed packing stuff, but I'm still collecting seeds.
Yeah.
Got to get rid of them. But
Okay.
I refuse to like throw them away or something.
No.
Because we need more native plants. We need to help the pollinators. We need to help the birds.
Yeah.
We need to help the whole ecosystem with native plants.
So she said, you know, really, we need to help the pollinators, we need to help the birds, we need to help the whole ecosystem with the plants. And she is an avid seed collector. And you came tonight to try to figure out what to do with all of the seeds because your house is overrun with seeds. Okay, that's put into my words. Okay, good.
Even our storage unit.
Okay, even a storage unit has seeds in it. See, we need you. So when we hear that the libraries are running out of seeds, this is why I'm doing these presentations, because I know y'all are out there, the seed collectors. There's something very satisfying about collecting, foraging, gathering. It's very satisfying, and you may do it and you don't even know why. I think it's a very human thing to want to collect and sometimes hoard, not in a bad way, but kind of in like a squirrel chipmunk way, saving for later, you know. I think it's an important human thing. And if you have so many, we need them. So take them to the library. I will come pick them up from you and distribute them throughout the community. So why else? Why were you inspired to come tonight? Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I was doing it right.
Okay, you wanted to make sure you're doing it right. All right, you want to make sure you're collecting the seeds the right way. That's really good. So why are y'all interested in native plants?
The past 3 months.
Past 3 months. Yes, because of the past 3 months. That's why you're interested in native plants. Yes.
All the development is raping and pillaging the earth. You know, they're just scraping everything away. And
Right.
so wildlife has nowhere to go. You know, we're losing pollinators, we're losing birds. You know,
Yes.
we just need to create a sustainable world with
Thanks.
native plants.
Yes, we need to create a more sustainable world with plants because all the development going on in Williamson County is really, you know, causing serious problems for native plants, which causes serious problems for the whole ecosystem, for native animals, and for us. So in addition to development that you mentioned, what are some of the other challenges that native plants are facing? I heard someone drought, pesticides, climate change, pollution. Yeah, what was that back there? Invasive species, yes, taking up space where they ought to be, where the native plants should be. So that's really important. And so I wanted to plant this seed while I was here, of like, how can our NIPSOT chapters and Central Texas Seed Savers collaborate going forward? Because like I said, a lot of our programs, Central Texas Seed Savers programs, kind of live in the community and have been able to spread on the foundation of other organizations. Because we're a relatively new organization, we're very loosely organized, and being able to use the networks that older, more established organizations have is really helpful. So I think there could be ways for us to collaborate. So including maybe you starting a seed collection at Georgetown Library, if the librarians are into it. Okay, do y'all have any questions about the why? How about, because propagating is fun too. Like maybe you want to propagate some of your own plants, because that's a fun experience to have, to see the whole cycle of how the plant starts from a seed, grows up, flowers, forms new seeds, and propagates a new generation. I think there's a lot of satisfaction in kind of observing that process that a lot of people really enjoy. Plants are getting really expensive. That's another reason seed saving is a great way to save money on plants. And you can save seeds from something like Lindheimer senna that you can't really buy. You can't really get those plants very easily at the nursery. If you see them at the nursery, it's pretty rare, and they're great plants. So that's the whole mission behind Central Texas Seed Savers, is encouraging people to grow these plants that are unique to Central Texas, that you can't find in the nursery trade sometimes, and they're becoming more and more rare because of these challenges. They could be facing extinction if we don't grow them and share the seeds. Does that make sense, y'all? Yay. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so here we go. So who can collect seeds? Anybody? Okay, seed collection is an all ages activity, especially something like milkweeds, where you can see there on the slide all the way on the right, because they're so engaging, something very tactile about collecting seeds, sorting seeds. It's a very satisfying activity for people of all ages. And the what is collecting local seeds. Like I said, encouraging gardeners to grow plants that otherwise might go extinct due to development, habitat loss. Deer pressure is a big one, and I'm going to talk more about that. And lack of commercially available seeds, and lack of these plants being available in the nursery. So what I want you to do when you're thinking about starting out in seed saving, I want you to pick one plant from your garden. If you don't have a garden, you can pick one plant from your neighborhood, and kind of watch that one plant through its whole life cycle and learn about that one plant. That's an easy way to get started in seed saving, because each species has different needs for seed saving and different times when the seeds are ripe. And so in just a presentation like this, I'm not going to be able to get to all the plants that you might want to collect seed from. I could talk a little bit about Lindheimer sennas, since that was one of the giveaway plants tonight, and they're really easy to collect from. So I might do that. And just focus on one species, one plant, like I said, in your yard or in your neighborhood this year, and learn about that one plant. and its life cycle. Read as much as you can about that plant, and go from there, and collect the seeds just from that one plant. I like to tie a ribbon around a plant that I'm going to collect from, so that I'll remember that that's the plant I'm collecting from, because it is such a long process of watching the plant go through its whole life cycle. So that's one thing that can help, is a lot of tagging, labeling, and ribbon tying. Okay. So you can collect any seeds from any local plants that produce fruit, you know, vegetables, landscape plants, trees. I'm going to talk a lot about trees. Okay. So when you want to collect seeds when they are fully mature. And so this is the part that's a little bit tricky. And you want to be ready to collect seeds. So if you really get into seed saving and you're doing, maybe you're going on the plant rescue events with Wilco Nipsot, which I've heard a lot about. It sounds really neat. You can keep buckets in your car. Some envelopes are important, but what you want to look for are characteristics of maturity. And mature seeds are usually full size, dark in color, firm and dry. So a lot of times, I'm going to show you another slide next with fall obedient plant as one example. So here's the fall obedient plant in bloom. Okay, so it's going to start out as a little plant that's just green, vegetative, and then it's going to start blooming with the pink flowers. Okay, and then it's going to get pollinated. In this case, with fall obedient plants, it's going to get pollinated by little bees. Okay, and then flower is going to fall off. And a lot of folks, if they're really into gardening, at that point might come and cut the flower stalk off in a method referred to as deadheading. Okay, which is fine. Deadheading's fine. I did a lot of deadheading in my career, and I still do, to try to encourage the plant to grow more flowers. But if you want the plant to make seed, you have to leave the stalk on after it flowers. Okay, and so let's say you have a big group of fall obedient plant, and you know they look really ugly after they're done blooming, and you want to go ahead and deadhead some of them. You can just put ribbons on the plants that you want to save the seed from, because each fall obedient plant is going to make like a bajillion seeds. So you don't have to necessarily save every single stalk. Okay, so it's okay. There's ways to save seeds without making your yard look seedy, which is where that term comes from, is letting things go to seed. Okay, so then in the example of the fall obedient plant, I'll show you a picture. The pods and capsules on the native plants often split open. So here's a picture of the seeds on the left here, where they're not ready yet, and they're still green right here. The flower parts are gonna fall off. And so a lot of times people mistake the dead flowers, like the petals, the dead petals, for seeds or fruit. Okay, so you want to make sure what you're actually harvesting is a little fruit or a seed. And so these are just the flowers here, like the petals that fell out, and you can see like there's a hole right here. You don't see that? You guys can't see it. Hold on. So right here, there's a hole where the flower petal used to be, and that's where the seeds are going to form. Okay, so these are the old petals that fell out after it bloomed. All right, So what you want to look for is this whole stalk dries out weeks later, and these turn into little capsules. So with a lot of the native plants, the signal that they are ready to harvest is when they're dry. A lot of the native plants will make little capsules or beams. And when they are completely dry, that's a sign that the seeds are ready. Okay, so that's one major thing to look for. So for everybody on Zoom, I want to point out with the cursor here, this is where the flower was. And there's a hole there where the petals fell out. So here's an old petal, like right there. Here's what the flowers, the petals look like after they fall out. And then here's weeks later, the dried stalks with the capsules on the stem, and there's seeds in there. So each one of these little capsules has the seeds inside of it. Okay. And it's hard because every single plant is going to have different seeds. So that's why I'm saying seed saving is a skill that you can develop over time. It's not hard. It requires patience and organization. So like I said, just putting the ribbon on the plant you want to save from so that you'll remember not to cut it down, not to pull it, that you're leaving it there, letting it go to seed on purpose is important. Using labels so that you remember the names of the plants is important, you know, and that's a good way because it happens over such a long period of time. It's really easy to forget what you're doing. Okay. So, and like I said, learning about one type of plant first and how to do it on one type of plant is a good jumping off point. And once you've got one under your belt, then you'll be able to expand out and try with other plants. It just requires some trying. And don't be scared. Even if you do it wrong, it's okay. Like even if you, this presentation was made by my friend Stephanie, and she chose Fall Obedient plant for this presentation out of experience because she collected a bag full of petals. And she brought me a bag that she thought was seeds, and I was like, these are petals. So, you know, and it's one of those things where like really there's only one way to learn, and that's by doing it, you know, and you can ask each other how to do it, you know. And that's one of the fun things about Central Texas Seed Savers, the community that develops around the plants and this information and exchanging information about how to do it. Does that make sense, y'all? Okay, do y'all have any questions? Yeah.
Can you talk about the ethics of seed saving?
Sure.
Not just grabbing all the seeds you find on
Yeah.
the trail.
Yes, there are some. She asked if there are ethics of seed saving, and generally we say try to only take, if you're in a public space and you're going to collect seed, or you have a wildlife habitat where you purposely planted plants to support wildlife, only take 20% of the available seeds. And I usually take way less because you want those seeds to be there to feed birds and to also repopulate the plants in that area. Okay, so that way there's enough seeds to provide plants for the next generation of plants. Okay, so remember that all of those seeds have a potential to become a new plant. Yes.
Are there some plants that it's almost impossible to actually seed?
Are there some plants where it's actually impossible to gather the seeds and actually propagate them? And I would say there are a lot of native plants where there is a lot of lore about how hard it is to propagate them. And I think what we're missing is the information and the experience of how to do it. I don't think any of them are going to be impossible. I think there's a lot of plants that don't like nursery culture, and maybe are best preserved in the wild because they're so hard to propagate. Like Texas madrone is one example, but people do it. So yes, but I also think one of the roles of Central Texas Seed Savers, I think, is going to be accumulating more information about how to do this, how to propagate these seeds too. As time goes by, I hope that's something that we'll be able to create a network of knowledgeable people who know how to propagate the seeds and collect more of that information. So thank you for that question. Any other questions before I continue? Yeah.
We've got one online. Victoria is asking if you have any advice on echinacea and Deponia.
Yeah, I do. So she was asking if we have any advice about how to collect seeds from echinacea and Tithonia. For echinacea, it's really easy. You just have to not deadhead them and let the stem and the whole head, the whole cone part of the coneflower plant dry out. It's going to turn black. And then you have to use gloves to clean them because the cone is real spiny. So you have to be careful because they're kind of pokey. And the seeds are way down, wedged in the cone. And that's an easy one. Yeah.
Put it in a plastic jar or whatever and shake them and the seeds will come out.
That's awesome. Okay, so someone in person here suggested putting the echinacea cone heads in a jar and shaking them real good, and then the cones break apart. So that's really, really smart. Yes, you have a question? Oh, that's good. And put something heavy in the jar. Use a plastic jar. Put like some nuts and bolts in there to knock them all apart. See, this is exactly the kind of information that we're trying to collect and keep for folks so we can share these tips to make it easier. I don't know about seed saving from Tithonia, and they're not native, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the Mexican so far. I would make a suggestion, and this is what I do for milkweed pots, is I get a little organza bag and put it over and zip tie it, and that lets the air in, the seed pod can mature, but hopefully not too many insects get to it, and you can harvest that particular pod.
That's a great suggestion. I'm going to share it with everyone on Zoom, and for folks in the back who maybe couldn't hear. When you're collecting from something like milkweed, and folks also do this with bluebonnets, where you have a capsule or a seed pod that's going to burst open, you can, as the seed pod is maturing, you can put a little organza bag so that the seed pod can still breathe and it doesn't get rotten in there, it won't get mushy. And you tie it over the seed pod and then you wait for it to mature and the bag will catch the seeds. For those types of plants, we have a lot of native plants, including the Lindheimer sennas that you all got tonight, where it makes a little bean pod and the bean pod is gonna bust open and fling the seeds out. So having a way to catch them is really, really smart. It's cool. And then, yeah, and old pantyhose works real good too. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm gonna, really old pantyhose. Yeah. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Here's the how. Try to reject seed with obvious decay or insect damage. Avoid damaging existing vegetation. Don't climb trees. We don't need them that bad. About 20%, you're asking about the ethics. Here's a little bit more. Don't collect from places where you don't have permission, or Texas Parks and Wildlife, state parks, preserves, and federal land. It's illegal to collect in those places. If you see something in someone's yard, knock on the door, try to get permission, use your judgment. Don't do anything dangerous or illegal, is what I try to say, and just take less than 20% is that's the general rule for people foraging. Okay. So, one thing I want to talk about are seed swaps, and then which I mentioned earlier, and then I wanted to focus on, a particular program that we have where we've partnered with TreeFolks to form the seed to tree pipeline. And I'm a longtime volunteer with TreeFolks, and TreeFolks is a premier tree planting and tree education organization in Central Texas, and they have tree planting programs, and they are not able to buy enough trees for their tree planting program because there's a worldwide tree shortage in nurseries. There's not enough nurseries growing trees, but in particular in Central Texas, we're having a really bad tree shortage, and they can't buy enough trees for their programs. So they approached Central Texas Seed Savers and asked us if we could help recruit folks to collect seeds from local trees, and they are going to start growing them in their nursery, and they're also going to be direct seeding trees in their planting programs too, by planting seeds directly in the ground. So I really wanted to emphasize that with y'all because they're all native trees, and this is Native Plant Society. And this is a brand new program. We're just getting up and running. But you can learn more on the Seed Savers website, which is under construction at this minute, but we're gonna get it done soon. And TreeFolks is launching a new seed to tree pipeline site with the list of species that we're looking for right now and information about how to send the seeds to TreeFolks. Okay, so it's going to make a huge difference for TreeFolks to be able to grow their own trees, because the other big issue is not only can they not buy enough trees, they also cannot get enough diversity in the species. Okay, because so many native plants are not available in the nurseries, including trees. And so we're really going to try to get the local stock of trees that we know do well here, species that are not available widely in the nurseries, to prevent them from going extinct. And I hope that TreeFolks, being a nonprofit, will be able to prove that some of these native tree species actually do fine in nursery culture, because I think there's a lot of commercial growers that don't want to take a chance on a species that's new to them, that they don't know for sure will grow in a nursery. You know, there's a lot of risk there. So having a nonprofit organization be able to take on that risk could really help in the future in encouraging commercial growers to grow a larger variety of species of native trees. So yeah.
Our oaks have a lot of acorns this year because of the drought and trying to survive. So we're gonna see a ton of them falling. How would you suggest we collect those? I mean, we are gonna have excessive amounts. I've already seen acorns.
Yeah, for acorns, there's certain species that we're looking for in particular. So keep that in mind. And for collecting acorns, sometimes I'll use a small pecan picker-upper. Have you ever seen a pecan picker-upper tool? It's like a stick with a spring on the end. So she was saying they're gonna have a ton of acorns at their place this year. Their trees are having a mast year for acorns. So yeah, I like to use a small pecan picker-upper or just a rake, you know, to rake them all into in one spot. Yeah.
I would suggest using the float test with acreage you start collecting. Because don't go out and collect 2,000 acres out in front of your tree. Try some floating in a bucket. If they float, they're not considered.
Yeah, if you are collecting
with heavy acres on a drought year, that they would not be fine.
Yeah, if you're collecting acorns, it's a good idea to put some in a bucket with water and see if they float, because that means they're probably not going to be viable if they float. And that way you'll know, because sometimes they get worms in them and stuff like that, just to see. But I like collecting. I know we're looking for post oaks, Quercus stellata. So yeah, I know there's a lot of post oaks in Central Cedar Park and in Eastern Williamson County parks. So if you have post oaks, we're looking for post oaks specifically. Off the top of my head, I remember that one because I love them. So yeah, the seed to tree pipeline is really exciting. It's an exciting collaboration. And yeah, I've got just a few more minutes for questions.
How long can you keep seeds?
Great, thank you for asking. How long can you keep seeds? And it really depends on the type of seed. So when we're talking about tree seeds, most tree seeds, especially nuts and acorns, do not last long at all. They don't store well. So getting those into the nursery and growing right away is important. But when you're talking about certain native plants like bluebonnets, the Lindheimer senna, they can last for years and years if they're stored properly. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about proper storage as we wrap up. Keep them in an envelope, okay, not plastic, okay, and keep them in a jar in a cool, dry place. And I like to keep my seeds in like a Tupperware box in the fridge and the refrigerator in the crisper, and they'll last for years. Generally, the smaller the seed, the shorter lifespan the seed has. So some native plants like that have really small seeds like echinacea, for example, those seeds generally aren't going to live as long in storage as something larger like native gourd, for example, like buffalo gourd has a big seed. A big gourd seed is going to be able to store longer, but they can store for a really long time. The exception is the nut trees because they co-evolved with squirrels and squirrels plant them right away. Yeah, so thank you for that question because the storage is really important. Don't leave them outside. They won't last as long if they're left outside. Climate control is important. That's why seed libraries work so well because they need the same conditions as books. Right? They need to be in a place where there's no bugs and it's climate controlled. So it works really good that way, y'all. So any other questions before we wrap up? Yeah.
Here's a question online.
From Zoom.
From CZ. She said she saw on the TreeFolks website that they want wild plants.
Yeah.
And does that mean I can't collect from my mountain laurel in my yard?
No. So she said they saw on the TreeFolks website that we are trying to collect from wild plants, and we're adjusting that language so you can collect from your yard. So that's fine. Yeah. And we just need to know if you're going to collect for the seed to tree pipeline, we need to know where the seeds came from, because there's certain TreeFolks programs where they can only use wild seeds, but we have other programs where we can use the seeds from your yard, and we need a lot of seeds. We're going to need like 1 million seeds a year to make this work. So we need the seeds. So don't be shy. So thank you so much, y'all. Yeah, you have a question? Try to learn the Latin names as much as you can to avoid confusion, especially confusion due to northern accents, says the Clevelander. I have lived here for 20 years and I still sound like I just got here from Cleveland yesterday. So thank you all so much. Great.